Hello friends, and welcome to my little shack, and thanks for checking out my channel. My name is Tom. My call sign is ND3N. In this video I'll discuss what a handheld, or HT for handy talkie in ham speak, is. We'll start by looking at what an HT can do, then what an HT can't do, resources available for you to do in your research to select the best radio for you. Then we'll look at a range of costs for HTs and additional accessories that you should consider buying for your new rig. Keep in mind that I am not compensated by anyone for this video, so any mention of a specific manufacturer or online ham radio store is for your edification only and not an endorsement. Everyone is different, and what is right for me may not be right for you. I'll give you the information to make the best decision for you. Both your time and mine is limited. I've included a lot of information here, but not everything, as that would take up way too much of your time and mine. I hope this video provides you a few skills to help you do your research. I've provided multiple links for just about everything I'll talk about in the video description. Please leave any comments or questions below and give me a like by pressing the thumbs up button. I'll do my best to answer any questions that you post. Now, on to what an HT can do. The Handy Talkie is a full-fledged ham radio shack that you can take with you just about anywhere. At the very basic level, the HT is an FM radio that is used to talk simplex or line of sight to another ham or over extended distances using FM repeaters. Many HTs have the capability of digital voice modes like D-Star, Fusion, and DMR. In these modes, your voice is translated through a codec into a digital signal. Digital voice-enabled radios can talk directly to another ham with the same mode enabled, similar to an FM simplex, or via specialized repeater systems that provide a gateway between your digitized voice and the internet. Once on the internet, your voice can be sent to any worldwide location which you can specify. Care to chat with someone in another state, another country, or even on another continent? Digital voice on an HT is one way to do it, and a pretty fun way. Many HTs contain an integrated GPS receiver that can be used to broadcast your location along with short messages using the Automatic Packet Reporting System, or APRS. Again, information for further reading is in the video description below. Of course, the APRS radio will receive this info from other users, so it can be used to coordinate connections between hams. Many APRS users have integrated a weather station with their APRS radios and will send out periodic weather reports. Almost all, but not every HT can receive, but not transmit, local AM signals such as the NOAA weather reports and local air traffic control. Many HTs are dual band, giving you the capability of using the first band, usually called the A band, as a normal FM radio for talking to local hams directly or through a repeater, while using the second, or B band, for APRS or digital voice, or another repeater. These radios usually have the ability to cross-band repeat, where you can set the A band as a simplex channel and the B band to a local repeater, allowing any ham with FM simplex capability to access a local repeater. You could also set your B band to a digital voice repeater, allowing you or any other ham to talk around the world. Ham radio is an intersectional hobby, meaning that it can be used to enhance other hobbies. They cross. In the past, as an example, I had installed a mobile radio on my motorcycle, and I used it not only for use on local FM radios, but while supporting a local marathon where I could travel the marathon route and coordinate any needed support. I would also set this radio up for crossband repeat so the other hams on the route could communicate through a local repeater. This was an intersection between the hobbies of ham radio, motorcycling, and long distance running. Another example, friends of mine who are involved with metal detection, usually searching an area for Civil War relics, use HTs to coordinate their searches. Another hobby intersection. HTs are also great tools for community service. Some of the most well-known organizations that you can join are the Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Service, which is RACES, the Amateur Radio Emergency Service, or ARES, and Skywarn. Again, there are links in the description for your additional research. All of these provide specialized communications in support of local, regional, national, or weather emergencies. But community support goes far beyond emergency services. It can be as simple as helping with parking at a local fireworks show, coordinating a neighborhood watch on Halloween to watch over the kiddies, or helping your neighbors in finding a lost pet. All that said, community service is never mandatory. You can be involved as you want to be. If you just want to kick back and chat on your HT, you're free to do that. And that's exactly what most hams do most of the time. However, it's nice to know that you have the extra options if you want them. Now, let's chat about what HTs can't do. While the HT is a complete ham radio station, handheld, it is a compromised station. They have a limited capability to dissipate heat, which is an inevitable side effect of any electronic device, so they're limited in how much RF energy they can produce. Most run in the 5-watt range, with some a bit above and some a bit below. Their output power is also adjustable. The antennas are, to be kind, less than optimal. To be blunt, their composition, tuning, and overall capability would be a joke if used for any other purposes than what they were designed for. This means that even if your rig is rated at 5 watts, the effective radiated power will be considerably lower. The same goes for the receive side of your radio. The sensitivity rating of your radio will actually be much worse than whatever they publish, mostly because of the antenna. As an example, I was trying to reach a D-Star repeater on an ICOM handheld. Even though the repeater was on a tower about 5 miles away from my home, I couldn't reach it, not even on the highest power setting of my HT. I used an adapter cable to attach it to a really good VHF UHF antenna that I was using for my home station rig, and was easily able to connect with the repeater. I lowered the power to the lowest power output that the radio would do, and that was around 100 milliwatts, or 1/10 of a watt. I was able to maintain a fantastic connection. No breakup at all. Now, your alternative, if you want, and I've seen people do this, is to strap a good antenna to your backpack and carry it around wherever you wanted to communicate further than a few miles. That kind of works against the idea of portability, doesn't it? Now, their size, despite the convenience of being handheld, means that to make any changes beyond simple volume and squelch settings requires multiple button pushes and changing of internal menu options. Things that can be done on a big radio or even a medium-sized mobile radio with a single button push take a major effort on an HT. There is also no commonality between different manufacturers. So if you use an ICOM or a Kenwood radio and someone hands you a Yaesu rig, you'll have difficulty, maybe, figuring out how to make it work. Even finding out where the microphone is so you know where to talk, or the push to talk button is. How to adjust the volume and squelch require a bit of a learning curve between different HTs. The published distance an HT can communicate is usually theoretical, with no confirmed testing performed. If testing was performed, it was done under optimal conditions. Things that can affect the, humidity, air temperature, air pressure, a myriad of other conditions, they can all affect how far you can actually talk. Take the published distance from the manufacturer with a healthy dose of salt. Line of sight communications literally means that you can see the person you're talking to. In practice, it means there is an unobstructed path between the two talkers for your radio waves to travel. Things that will block RF are anything metal, hills, heavy forest, large buildings. So if you want to talk to someone where the RF is blocked or the distance is beyond what your rig can do, you'll need to use a repeater. That is, if a repeater is available. First off, repeaters do not provide universal coverage. If you're in a populated area, there are probably several repeaters listed for you to use. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they will be available when you want to use them. Now, repeaters are expensive. Expensive to buy and expensive to put up and maintain. The antenna location is most critical to their operation, so the best location is usually on the top of a building or on a tower. Unless the repeater is being sponsored by a government agency like a fire department or a county emergency coordination group, or unless the repeater owner has the luxury of such a tower, then the space must be leased on a commercial tower. That's a cost. Obviously, the repeater radio and controller must be located near the antenna and tower, and high-grade coax is needed to connect the two. The repeater system needs specialized filters, amplifiers, and if the repeater is used for digital voice modes, a computer with an internet connection. Because of the cost, repeater ownership is often shared between several hams or sponsored by a local ham club. These repeater owners will appoint a trustee to operate, maintain, and be responsible for everything that happens with the repeater. The owners and trustee can decide to change the repeater band or frequencies, or from one digital mode to another, or take the repeater out of service temporarily or permanently. There is no resource that can tell you the current status of any repeater. However, there are a few that are fairly reliable. Even at that, there are no guarantees. One source I use is the Repeater Book app for your cell phone. It uses the location services on your phone to tell you what repeaters and what features those repeaters have around you. It's handy for traveling, so you can find a local repeater near your current location. Links for the Apple and the Android apps are in the description. Even if you find a repeater that is open to you, there is no guarantee that someone else will be listening or available to chat. Your best resource would be your local ham radio club. They can tell you which repeaters are available for you to use and whether you'll be able to reach them with an HT from your location. I've included a link to the ARRL that can help you find a local club and their contact information. First off, I can tell you as a point of faith, they will be thrilled to hear from you. Most clubs have monthly face-to-face meetings, periodic socials, and weekly meetings on air using a local repeater. They'll be happy to hear you check into their net or attend the other meetings. Now, let's move on to what kind of HTs are available from different manufacturers. How much do they cost? Where can I buy them? And what accessories should I buy for them? And as a bonus, one accessory you should avoid. This video looks like it might be getting a little long. I was planning on talking about each radio separately. Instead of that, I'm going to save time by asking you to multitask. While I'm talking about other stuff, I'll be putting graphics up right in here that give a brief overview of each radio I was going to talk about. These will be sorted by price from the most expensive to the lowest cost. Of course, there are links for each manufacturer in the video description below, so you can go do additional research into any radio that interests you. One of the main reasons I'm making this video is because I've seen a lot of new hams and some more experienced guys go out and buy an expensive radio with a lot of bells and whistles, like digital voice modes and APRS and GPS and make your morning coffee. They spent a lot of money to get these radios, then discovered that all they really could do in their location was use 2 or 3 local repeaters. Now, on the other hand, while much less costly, the problem with a basic FM radio is that while you will get a lot of use out of it, there may come a time that you want to do more, and having that more expensive radio will give you something to grow into. Remember the adage, you get what you pay for. There are a lot of cheap radios out there that can be purchased at a particular online megastore. They're not well built, they use cheap plastic for their cases, and they have lower quality electronic components inside. They're known for being difficult to program and come with a nearly unusable owner's manual. That said, they do sell for a fraction of the cost of a comparable quality radio, and if that's all you can afford, I'd rather you bought one and got on the air as soon as possible than waiting a couple months to save up the money for one. If you are lucky enough to have a local brick and mortar ham radio store nearby, they will probably be a much better resource by letting you handle and maybe even talk on the several different radios. However, their prices won't be as good as the online retailer. Now, here's a tip for your search. Once you've narrowed it down a bit, go to the manufacturer's website, download the owner's manual for the radio that you're interested in, do a quick run through the manual and see how hard it would be to, say, hand program a repeater and store it in a memory. Don't worry if you don't understand the steps. You'll get that later. Just try to get a feel for how difficult it would be to do. It might make your comparison decision a little bit easier. Also, only consider radios that you can use. They'll all talk to FM repeaters, but if you're interested in digital voice, check for DV repeaters around you. If you only have, say, D-Star repeaters, only consider those radios with D-Star capability. The Repeater Book Repeater Book app mentioned before can help you identify those. After you've decided which radio would be a right fit for you, there are a few accessories that you might want to purchase. I've listed these in order of importance, and that was determined solely by my opinion. Your mileage may vary. It's your hobby, your HT, and your money. Since the usefulness of your HT will quickly decline if you run out of juice, a spare battery is at the top of my list. If you can afford 2, you can get 2. The next on my list is programming software. I use the RT Systems software, and you can usually purchase it from the same dealer you buy your radio from. I've added a link to their website in the video description. Now, they have become the de facto supplier of radio programming software and have a catalog that contains just about every radio you can imagine. And a lot of your friends will be using that same software, so you can swap files. To make keeping your radio and batteries charged and ready to go, consider a desktop charger. You can drop your radio into it at the end of the day. It'll be all charged up in just a few hours. You can also charge your spare batteries in it without them being installed in the radio, keeping them topped off. One thing you want to do is skip the upgraded antennas. They don't improve things enough to make them worth the cost. Well, I hope this has been informative for you. If you got something out of this, please give it a like by clicking on the thumbs up icon. If an HT doesn't seem right to you, I'll be putting together a similar video featuring mobile and base station VHF and UHF antennas in the very near future. Keep an eye out for that. If you have questions, if you can think of another topic that you'd like me to chat about, or if you think of anything that should be added to this video, please drop a line in the comments below. Thanks for dropping by to check out the channel and to visit my shack for a chat. 7-3 for now. ND3N out.